Hi. So, you get a lot of emails from me, but here's the face behind, all that I'm sending out. And that is what I want to start with. First and foremost, I am a person. I am not somebody who's going to come behind you and, hit your wrist if things don't get turned in or if something's incorrect. I know that for some of us, sadly, that has been our experience with, religious formators. And I just want to say that's really not the case. I am here primarily to serve your families. I am a children and family minister. That's what, we changed my title to very intentionally because my heart is just very much right now with helping families find Christ and, really doing whatever I can to strengthen the domestic church, which is you guys at home with your kids. And it should never be a burden, right? Our faith should not be something that's just like this other thing on the checklist, right? It should be something that gives us hope, that gives us strength. And I realize that some weeks, sessions are going to go really well and your kids are going to be really involved. And other weeks, it's going to be a struggle and a fight. And I want to give you the freedom. One, if, who knows what, if the house floods or the electricity goes out or whatever, or there's family things that are happening, like certainly just reach out, say, you don't have to give me the reason, just say, I'm not going to be able to get it in this week. I will every once in a while just check in if things haven't been turned in. And that's not for again, like the hand hitting, it's making sure we're recording. Okay. It's to be able to yeah, check in, make sure you guys are okay, make sure that if the program needs to be adjusted for you, it can be. Particularly in that instance, I want to say, like, if you are in a difficult family situation, especially if you do not have your kids all of the time, certainly we can set a schedule that works for you. Um, the program requirement, and that's just so kind of there is an accountability and there's a standard, let's say, is that a child will not miss more than 4 sessions a year unexcused to have it counted for the year. So, what that means is if you miss a session and you send in the work, so this year it'll be those question documents. In previous years, it's been you would do the chapter with your child and send in a short quiz. But like I said, this year it'll be the question document. So if you miss a session and you fill that out and send it in to me, even if it's past the deadline, you'll get counted and the absence will be excused. So it's like they never missed a class. And if you don't do that, it's 4 sessions a year. I think we only have 18 this whole year. So it's really not much. And normally it's we try to do a fourth, or not a fourth, which whatever the math is. Anyway, like I said, I'm a person, I make mistakes. And again, this is more of an accountability thing. Like I know for myself, I just signed up for a book study at another parish. And I went to the second session because I completely forgot about the first session. And it was at Thursdays at 4 p.m. And every single week, either 5 p.m. on Thursday or 9 a.m. on Friday morning, I'd be like, oh no, like I had the full intention. I wanted to do it. The group was good. I felt like it was a good discussion, just a way to kind of enrich my own faith life. And I just completely, which is why, right? One of the primary reasons I wanted to provide the Facebook group, because I know that you guys are receiving 90 emails a week, and that's just from virtual schooling, right? It's not even other things. So that's why I created the Facebook group, to just be able to post every week. And that way you can just go there and, it's there. Or if things come up in your feed, then it serves as a reminder. And again, not to make you feel guilty, but just to say like, hey, this resource is here. And trying to provide something for you. And then for parents who are not on Facebook, because I realized not everyone's on Facebook, and I had played around with different ideas for a while on how best to do this, but I created a GroupMe, which is something I used a lot in college. I don't know if like the adults world uses it at all, but I found it very helpful. It's basically like a message board. You can download the app or access it through your browser. You can sign up for text notifications. So that's another way, most lessons or sessions, we're not calling them lessons. Most sessions will be posted by 10 a.m. on, or all sessions, I should say, will be posted on or before 10 a.m. On Sundays. So that's when you can look for them. If there's a technical issue and we can't get them out, I'll let you know. But also the message board and the Facebook group can serve as ways for you guys to connect. Like, obviously all of our kids are in different places and they have different interests and stuff. So if something's like really working and you want to share it, or if something really impacted your family in a powerful way, being able to say like, hey, this was really good, and I think to be able to celebrate our accomplishments and celebrate, especially those family bonding moments, huge. You can share pictures, I've tried to provide a lot of crafts and other things, or like if your kids are just really enjoying one of the activities, like I want to see it too. I mentioned in my email earlier today, but like, and it's something that, us and the Faith Formation kind of office, I don't know if you guys are aware, but we work with, St. Paul and Kate, who's, now in charge of Edge and Adult Faith Formation. Like, we are kind of all one cohesive team. And to see, especially during how stressful it is right now, and how taxed we are, on top of regular parent duties and activities, and to be able to see the response and like how invested and involved a lot of you have been, is just like such a testimony to me as well, as I'm on the beginning of my Catholic parenting journey, So I just want to say thank you, And again, if it doesn't get done every week, just communicate. I am a person too, I get it. I said earlier this week, like I had forgotten to set up my son's pediatrician appointment. So like, if I do that, like y'all are good. Anyway, but it's just a way to connect with parents through these two different mediums. You could certainly be on both. You could be on neither. They are just an additional resource. I have found recently, like that has been my saving grace, is actually online groups to be able to say like anybody else's kid doing this. So especially when it comes to this, and maybe if something isn't working, another parent could say like, well, this is how we got over that hurdle, or, even just the solace of saying like, yeah, my kid's like throwing fits every week too. So now I'm going to show you like actually a session, walk through it with you guys. And again, it's not to add another burden, that's certainly how the program has been designed this year. And this is just a kind of faux pas, let's say on my part, is as I was researching, various mediums that we could do this through for the online portion. I had not considered that a lot of schools use Google Classroom, and that's what you all would be used to. I don't have school-aged children. So, now that we've gotten into it, I'm going to keep it on Google Drive. But I know like some of the sharing settings and stuff have been confusing, and I'm actually going to go through, I've made the question document, I think, a little easier. So anyway, without further adaio, let's look at, so here is, right, the session for this week. I had asked other parents too that it's been working for. Some of them have multiple kids, some of them only had one kid, all various ages, and what kind of works. A lot of them are saying the sessions are taking about an hour, if not less. Some things that have worked for them is like starting with my video introduction, which is always on the slides every week. And sometimes it'll be a volunteer, but basically it's going to be a volunteer and a prayer. And then they do a prayer and they do the workbook pages and then look through using the checklist, what are the craft options? What are the family activity options? How can we best work through this week? So just looking at the slides real quick, right? If we bring it up, and it might take a minute to load. I always try to do some type of fun interactive piece. And this is the same if we were meeting in person, right? I do skits or silly songs or something just to kind of engage the kids before we start getting into the actual session. So this week it is kids and teens answering what you think is important to know about Mary. And even if your kids don't know anything, that's totally okay, as we asked some kids around the pastorate actually, and then our own siblings, Ryan and I, to just answer some different questions. There's other videos up on our YouTube, and I actually need to upload some of the other ones. These were recorded back in the spring. You'll notice my son is much smaller than he is now. Anyway, but so that's just the one for this week. Obviously the first week it was Adam names the animals. I'll be doing other things where kids can send in stuff. Again, your kid doesn't have to. I just think it's a fun way, especially while we all can't be together, or they might have friends that are in the virtual program or the in-person program that they won't be able to see. So for both programs, trying to just provide, things like that, and to also have the kids like be able to be proud of like their artwork. And, the more I think we can engage them in ways that are going to impact them, the better. And again, you do not have to do that. I think we have, and this is just another point, but I think we have between 80 and 90 families in this program. So in the whole family faith formation, meaning in person and virtual, which is also one of the points I'll get into later. But right now we're just going to go through the slides. So then if you click to the next slide, and I've started including the video links as well, because I realize sometimes they don't play for parents, but this week it's Miss Smith talking about Mary, and she did such a good job. And she shared like what she's been doing with her granddaughters, and she's the best. So then each week we're doing this prayer space. And if you haven't seen it, I do have a prayer space video, because I realize, not all of us have rosaries and Bibles and statues. And so what are some ways that we can kind of adapt? Kathleen found a great resource this week with just making a statue of Mary out of paper. Certainly printing coloring pages, using the pages from the books, they're your kids' books. So if they've already done the pages, they can rip out pictures or whatever, if you're comfortable with that, obviously, and just post them around. We haven't been at our apartment because we have fleas. And I'm a talker. I don't know if you can appreciate that. I'm trying to go as condensed as possible, but, I actually hung up the coloring page of the theme for the year, just as kind of a reminder, that we are a light shining in darkness for all to see. So I try to provide various ideas. Obviously, this week I said that your prayer space can look however you want it to. So this is just like, I think, and also having that physical reminder, in your house when you walk by it. It's been very helpful for me because I did not have a space set up before I made that video back in March. So to have that little reminder of like, oh yeah, God is with us, and like finding hope, especially during the Christmas season. It's what it is. So then there's a different prayer, I think, in kindergarten. They reprinted a 2021 version of the books only for 1st through 6th grade. So kindergarten's a little bit different. But at the beginning of the book, like literally it's the first page when you open it, there's this prayer. So I think especially asking God into this moment, like, what do you want us to learn from this? Working through it each week. So we start with the prayer, and then we go to the textbook pages. And this is where I want to move to the checklist. I've tried to make it as condensed as possible, and I do appreciate the feedback. So I've made it a little bit clearer as the program is kind of developed. Obviously, I didn't know, as we were planning, because we didn't have kind of guinea pigs, because, the books didn't come in until 2 weeks before the session started. But, we're adapting as it's going, seeing what's working, what's not, which was always kind of my plan. Anyway, but this outlines, I think, fairly clearly. I provided as a PDF, so you can print it or you can just look at it. But what is not due that week, let's say, but how to get the most out of the session is to do these different parts. So I list the videos. We'll get to the craft activity, but each week I'm providing different craft activities, because I realize some of us are not very artistic. And I want to say, I will provide, if you don't have a printer and you can't print things, let me know, certainly. And, we can provide those. We can provide paper, and if there's ever like tissue paper, googly eyes, anything like that, I'll set out craft packs. Just let me know, if there's a craft you'd be interested in. I'm gonna start doing office hours on Sundays. Sadly, I'm not able to do it this week because, again, we have fleas and I need to go treat our apartment. But I will have office hours where I'll be available. I'll be on campus, so you can call my office phone or you can email me, even if it's just to check in, say hi, tell me how it went this week. It's totally for that. I need human interaction as well. So anyway, we have that activity, and then each week there will be a family activity. I'm trying to do like one kind of more for kinetic learners, so it's fun and it's active. This week it's learning sign language or the Hail Mary in Spanish. You can also listen to the song. So trying again to engage like various ways, because obviously every single kid has different interests. And this again is not to like overwhelm, right? It's just to provide various options. So I try to make it a lot clearer this week. You only have to choose one. And then there are various things you can do. We have not examples, but things in the slides, right? Um, and then the pages are also listed here. So I definitely recommend, like I said, I have two open, going through the slides. And that's what other parents have said has worked really well. But definitely it's meant for you to go through the slides. And I realize there are a lot, if you need to break it up, especially if a younger child, totally fine. But I think that's where the checklist is helpful too, to just say, okay, what have we done? What have we, not done so far? So then each week I'm trying to tie it to the liturgy in some way. That was one thing that when I was planning for the year, I think seemed really important. That's why we started off right with our prayer service, kind of explaining the liturgy a little bit more. We'll go into it more in January. And I think either February or March, there's a session on that as well. So, and it's a way, right? Because Mass is long, but the beauty of our Catholic faith is that everything is intentional, right? From the candles, the symbols that are used, to the words, to the positioning. The priest, when he lifts the Eucharist, actually breathes on it to, it's a sign that the Holy Spirit is moving into the Eucharist, through the priest who is in persona Christi, meaning standing in place of Christ. Everything's intentional, and we have all these beautiful prayers that are said all around the world, in various languages, but they're the exact same. The translations are the same. So, and again, you're going to have, right, some of us have, not us, but some of you have fifth graders, some of you have kindergartners. Obviously, they're going to be able to engage on different levels. So this week I just said, like, just read through the prayers, get the gist of it if your kid is on that level. And then, you can go get a bit deeper, be able to discuss if your child is older. Anyway, so this was just the different places that Mary was mentioned during the Mass. And then at the end, I actually had this, challenge kind of thing for next time you listen to Mass or you stream Mass. Listen out for where these are. So it's also like engaging the kids in the liturgy. They're able to, whatever the word is, sorry. They're able to engage kind of more, see their place in it, see kind of some of the reasoning behind it, because if you don't know, the liturgy is considered the source and summit of our faith. So it is the ultimate end of our faith. It is the most important aspect of it, but also it is where we bring life from. At the end of Mass, it's this call to go forth. And it really is. It's like, that's how we get filled. That's how we're able to give, which is something I keep having to remind myself of. But anyway, so this is another one of the videos. It's super short. I think it's like 2 minutes, maybe. Oops. And then this is one of the craft options for this week. So super simple, print it out, have them color it, done. I'm not a super crafty person, so I appreciate things like this. But my husband had the really good idea, because I've just been listing options. And again, we're, developing each week to put which slide the other option is on. So again, trying to make it much clearer, because I realize, I'm imperfect. We get there. And then listing, right, the church actually celebrates Mary all year long. So I realize this week is a little more intense than other weeks. And this is also, I'm showing this because there are things in the slide kind of that enhance the questions. Some weeks, I think the textbook does a really awesome job of engaging the kids, either through the QR codes, which if you haven't gotten a chance to check that out, especially for the younger grades. And again, kindergarten, we don't have them yet, sadly. But there are things like puzzles and matching games. And I don't know if they're in the books. I know they're in the teacher's edition, that there's like review games as well. Sadly, I can't share those links just because of how the publisher has it set up. I wish I could. But they're in your child's textbooks at their various levels. So certainly check that out. And then at the end of each chapter, there's like a parent page that just talks a little bit more about like living out whatever lesson in the home. And I'm trying to get away from the language of like lessons. This should be, sessions. Again, I have tried to make it feel not like school as possible. And I realized like in past years, not necessarily at Resurrection, but just the way that religious education has been done is education. You're being tested on the prayers and you're doing quizzes. And my mentality and what I've seen work much better, and what the diocese has actually asked us to switch to, is called faith formation. And that's, really emphasizing that this is a lifelong process. We have adult faith formation here at Resurrection. And again, this is to show like you have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. You have a special spot within the church. Like we have a call to kind of show others the faith, show others the love of Christ from our baptism. I'm sorry, this is getting really long, but again, I'm trying to explain like kind of some of the methodology behind it, and really all the aspects of the program. So I'll go quicker. This is one of the craft options for this week. I'm particularly trying to provide just like different design, ideas from all around the world of how Mary is depicted. Because we do have a universal church, and you'll see me emphasize that a lot because it's something that I've just really been struck by in the past year, that like the church is alive and well all around the world, and it's going to look different ways. And we're very blessed here, to have religious freedom. For Vacation Bible School over the summer, one of my friends actually recorded a video and talked to the kids about the underground church in China, because he still has family over there. And the fact that he learned how to say the rosary in Mandarin, which is just, I think, awesome. So you'll see me emphasize it a lot. Also because we do have a very diverse community in our faith formation program, which is just awesome, like hearing about kind of these different experiences and how the faith is lived out in different cultures, and getting to pick different things, kind of from that. And anyway, so something I wanted to provide is just like different ideas for designs that they could do for their Mary, if you decide to do that. Then again, there's like a little bit of kind of explaining things. And then there's the different family options. So one of them was creating the Mary garden. One of them was praying the rosary and printing out and coloring the beads as you went. And then one of them was listening to the Hail Mary this is UK sign language, so different than ASL. And then if you wanted to, like maybe learning some of ASL, which I try to tie into the local church as much as possible. So this is actually a sign language interpreter for the Diocese of DC that was doing this. So it's pretty close to home. Anyway, so again, kind of going through this, each week, all that needs to be sent in, and I'm going to pull up, if you go to the like main document here, right? There's this document I have kind of outlining everything in the program, and I'm going to try and streamline it a little bit. It's been a while since I took like technical writing. So like just trying to kind of put everything on a one sheet, or just two sheets. But all that needs to be submitted each week is the document that asks for the questions, and then the family life lessons once a month. So family life is that second book that you have. It's much smaller. And all I need from that is pictures, or you can actually physically drop them by the office if there's an issue with submitting them. But pictures of the unit review. So every 2 lessons, there's a unit review. Family life is a very important part of the program. I need to still send it to some of you, but there's a document actually that we ask you to sign at the beginning of the year saying that you received it. We have to actually turn that into the diocese, saying that every child has received some type of family life formation. So it is really important, and we appreciate you guys doing that, because we realize your time is valuable. And I really want to emphasize this. Like, again, sessions are only taking about an hour. I really wanted this to be like fun family time. And again, I really subscribe to the methodology of like kind of introducing the fun, getting the kids involved in it, and then diving more into the liturgy, diving more into theology. My degree's in theology. I think it's super important. But again, I'm trying to get away from more of this like education model. And you'll see that continue throughout the next couple of years if you stay with the program. So, yeah, then, so each month we'll have a service project. I'll keep the things in there. I'll also email them out and post them in the Facebook group and the group me, but just that's an element of our program. If you haven't been involved in the program before, we do that every year. We do some type of service. If you want to upload photos to be able to share photos, there's a thing for that. And then there are the previous sessions. I'm going to work on my Google Drive. I need to empty some other things out. I don't know if the sessions will be able to stay up the whole year. And then you won't see the work in progress, but that's my work in progress folder of when I keep the sessions that haven't been released yet. Then also, just for you guys as a resource, there is this list of when we have sessions, so when sessions will be released. For those of you who will be back in the in-person program, Father John and I are working. We're going to stay within state guidelines, obviously be safe. There is the reality that, you know, the vaccine will be released and available to some of us, if not all of us, at different points. But also how I have the program set up, it would be pretty safe to come back in person just because we are able to distance. Each family gets their own table. We'll see. My plan right now is either hopefully in January to be able to move to the original model that I proposed, which was maybe not every family can come every week who signed up for the in-person program, but that we'd be able to come in kind of smaller pods. We'd have like a group A, group B. This is the program right now. Like I said, certainly reach out to me for anything. I hope this was helpful, just be able to kind of walk through it. If the links ever don't work, if anything is frustrating, you know, like I said, I know, oh, I didn't bring up the question document. That's where is it? Okay. So the question document each week, right, we'll go to the last one, is included. This week I included it as a PDF as well, because I know it's been confusing some people. Again, different than Google Classroom, which I realized later, like you can't edit this just because this is what I send out to every family. So either copy and paste it into the body of an email or print it out, like you can submit either scan or do pictures of your children's thing. And then, sorry. Oh, so please submit things to the Families Growing in Faith email. And the reason for this is there are, you know, I think 80 families in the program. That's on top of all my other duties throughout the week. Too much for me to be able to catalog, you know, and again, it's just more for attendance, kind of accountability. It's not, we're going to be grading them and kind of scrutinizing you, unless there's some really questionable, you know, answers in there. But to be able to kind of keep up with it, I have a volunteer who will be cataloging it every week. She does not have access to my work email. And I don't check that email account too much. So if you have questions for me, certainly send them along to my email instead. If anything's not working, send them to my email. But any work that's submitted, so the family life or the, what is it called? Or the sessions each week or the questions document, send them to Families with Faith. Please include what session number you're doing, your child's first and last name, and then their grade. This has been, I think, kind of confusing for people. So again, it's a way for us to just catalog all of it. There are a lot of kids in this program, which is such a blessing. But the reality of it is like, it just creates just a much more effective, you know, way of us doing it and us entering it into the database. Yes, so hopefully this was helpful. I am hoping to be able to see some of you in person. I do want to also say, like, again, my primary goal is providing resources for family faith that are hopefully very accessible. So we do have a developing parent ministry. Just keep an eye out on that. I do want to say I'm trying to meet, you know, the needs. So like we just did a session on natural family planning, a couple of sessions, a series. I'm working with someone right now to develop something for postpartum depression. And these aren't like professional talks or anything, but, you know, just kind of a support. We might just do like a support group that people could log on to and talk about it. I'm working on a lot of resources that I'll post on the website for single parents, because I realize a lot of our parents in this program, not a lot, but, you know, we have quite a few parents in this program that are in that situation, and just trying to deal with all of the new challenges that come with that. And from a Catholic perspective, right, like the resources that are available and the support that is available. Because I think the most important thing is to remember we're not alone. And then another series I'm in development with is try to do stuff for infertility and miscarriage, because I realize that is something that affects some of us so deeply and can affect our faith so deeply. So my mom, actually, the very first Parent Connect we did, which is on our Facebook, if you scroll, pretty far back, shared her story of her miscarriages and what that happened, just in her heart, and how she kind of was able to reconcile it, because at first she felt like God was punishing her. And then my mother-in-law, both of whom, my mother-in-law and my mother, have 7 kids, but in that same talk, she talked about, gosh, what was it? Her years of infertility, because she has the 3 boys. She had miscarriages in between them, and then she was told she was infertile for 8 years, and so they adopted. And as they adopted, they got pregnant with their daughter. So, quite a story. And again, like how these women have lived out the faith, and it's certainly been something that's been really awesome to experience firsthand. So I am here for you. I thank you for your patience as we, are developing things. Sadly, I am just one person and I only work 40 hours a week. So there's only so much I can do, but certainly I want to be here as a resource for you, and may God bless your families. Bye.